This dense and luxurious looking fan crochet stitch may look really complicated, but it's just a 4-row repeat and the stitches are pretty straightforward. They're mostly double crochets, single crochets, and chains. Once you get the hang of it, it'll be super easy. For this tutorial, I will be using the Loops and Threads Soft and Shiny Acrylic Yarn in the colorway Bay Leaf. The recommended hook size for this yarn is 5.5 millimeters, but because it is a fan stitch, and I do prefer it when a fan stitch is dense and a little bit tighter than usual, I will be using a hook that is much smaller than recommended. I will be using a 4 millimeter Tulip Atimo hook with a pointier tip. There will be some crocheting through chains in this pattern, so a pointier tip hook will be helpful. We'll start this tutorial with a slip knot, and we will be chaining in a multiple of 12 plus 1. So chain as long as you need for your project in a multiple of 12, and at the end, add 1. For this sample, I will be chaining a total of 37 for the foundation chain, which is 36, a multiple of 12, plus 1. I will see you at the end of the foundation chain. This is our foundation chain of 37. Like I mentioned before, this is a 4-row repeat, but the first row we're going to be working into this foundation chain is still going to be a setup row, so it won't be part of the repeat. I'm going to work the setup row into the bumps on the back of the foundation chain, but if you prefer, because some people prefer to do this and some people are more comfortable working into the chains, you can work directly into the chains as well. I prefer working into the bumps, but that also depends on the kind of yarn that I'm using. With this particular yarn, it's really easy to see the bumps, so it's easy to work into them. To do the first setup row, we're going to chain 1, and then in the second chain from the hook, we're going to place a single crochet. In the next chain, we're going to place a single crochet, and in the next chain, we're going to place a single crochet. You'll have 3 single crochets to start off this setup row. Next, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to double crochet into the following stitch. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet right back in to that same stitch that you double crocheted into. So we're making a V stitch. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and place a single crochet in the next stitch. Now we're going to place 4 more single crochets, 1 in each of the following 4 stitches for a total of 5 single crochets in a row. One, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 5 single crochets in a row. So we have 3 single crochets, chain 2, skip 3, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet into the same stitch, chain 2, skip 3, and then 5 single crochets. You should have something that looks a little bit like this. Next, we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the following stitch, we're going to place a double crochet. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and go back into that same chain and place another double crochet. Now chain 2, 1, 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and the next 5 stitches, place 1 single crochet each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 3 stitches, and in the following stitch, place a double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go back into the same stitch and place another double crochet to create that V-stitch. Now chain 2, 1, 2, skip 3 stitches, and place a single crochet in each of the last 3 stitches in this row. If you have chained more than 37 for your foundation, keep going, repeating what we did in this row until you get to the last 3 stitches. So this is what you should have so far. Now we're going to start our first of 4 repeat rows. To start the first repeat row, which is row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. To start the first repeat row, we're going to place a single crochet on top of the last single crochet in the previous row. Now, you see these 3 groups of chain spaces? We're going to work directly into that chain 2 space. So not at the top of the stitch, but we're going directly through that big space where you have the chain 2 from the previous row. And we're going to place 3 double crochets directly into that chain space. 2, 3. Next, we're going to place a double crochet on top of that double crochet in the previous row. And then you're at a chain 3 space. We're going to place a double crochet into each of the 3 chains. Now this is where a pointy hook comes in really handy. It's not that easy to crochet into chains because they do tend to pull, so they're quite small. We're going to place 1 double crochet into each of those 3 chains. Now, if it's really difficult to crochet into those chains, it is also okay to just crochet into that chain space instead. Here's a sample I did where instead of crocheting into the chains, I crocheted into the chain space. This is a thicker yarn, so in a way, I think that that's what makes the crocheting into the chain space okay with this yarn, because it's not obvious and the yarn doesn't move around too much because it's thicker and more substantial and just takes up more space in general. So if crocheting into the chain is difficult, feel free to crochet directly into that chain 3 space instead. But because this yarn is a lighter weight yarn, I'm going to crochet into the chains to give it a little bit more structure and so the stitches don't move around too much. So after you've done those 3, crochet, place a double crochet and on top of the next double crochet. And now we're back at a chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets directly into that double crochet space. 1, 2, 3. And you should have something that looks like this. It's the first fan, I guess. It's a giant fan, which I really like. Now you've reached your 5 single crochets in the previous row. We're going to place 1 single crochet in the 3rd single crochet from the previous row, sort of anchor that fan. And now we're going to go directly into making the next fan. The same way we made the first one, we're going to work directly into that chain 2 space and place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, we'll place 1 double crochet at the top of the double crochet from the previous row. Now we're at a chain 3 space. We're going to do 3 double crochets, 1 in each chain. Or again, if you like, you can just crochet directly into that chain space as well. I'm going to place 3, 1 in that chain, 1 in the second chain, and then 1 in the third chain. I'm going to place 1 double crochet at the top of the next double crochet, and then you're back at a chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets directly into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. Now you are back at a 5 single crochet from the previous row. We're going to place 1 single crochet in the third single crochet from the previous row. And now you have 2 fans finished. Now we're going to work directly into the next group of chain spaces to make the third fan. So we're going to double crochet directly into that chain 2 space. In that big space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. We're going to place 1 double crochet at the top of the double crochet from the previous row. Then we're at a chain 3 space. We're going to place 1 double crochet into each of those 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. A double crochet into the next double crochet. And then we're at a chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets directly into this chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to finish this row by placing 1 single crochet in the last stitch of the row. And that is the first repeat row finished. You've made 3 fans and it is already starting to look so pretty. I love the way crochet fans look. To start the second repeat row, we're going to chain 3. That counts as a double crochet. It's not a real double crochet, but we're going to count it as one. Just bookmark it in your head as if it's a double crochet. We're going to turn our work. Now, pretending that's a double crochet, we're going to chain 1 and then double crochet back into that base stitch that it's sitting on. So that counts as a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into that same stitch. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip the first 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 3 stitches and we're going to place 5 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 5 stitches. So you see, we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and we're going to place single crochet. We're going to do that 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll have something that looks like this. You have a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 3 stitches, and then 5 single crochets in a row. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to find the single crochet in between those 2 fans from the previous row. So we're skipping 3 double crochets and we're going to double crochet into that single crochet. We're going to chain 3. Then we're going to double crochet back into that same single crochet, chain 2, and we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. You can see from the top, just count the V's, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet into the following stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches for a total of 5. And we're going to chain 2, and we're going to find the single crochet in between the 2 fans that you made in the previous rows, and we're going to skip 3 stitches, and we're going to double crochet directly into that single crochet from the previous row. Chain 3, double crochet back into that single crochet in the previous row, chain 2, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the next 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to chain 2, we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, and in the last stitch we're going to double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet right back into that same stitch. And that is the end of repeat row 2. It's starting to come together. To start repeat row 3, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That will count as the first double crochet in the third repeat row. We're going to turn our work. Now we're going to double crochet into the chain in between those 2 double crochets in the previous row, right into the chain. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of the double crochet in the previous row. So now you have chain, double crochet, and this is in this chain 2 space, we're going to do 3 double crochets right into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. Now you have 5 single crochets from the previous row. We're going to place a single crochet in the third single crochet from the previous row. If this looks familiar, there's a reason. Now you can see there are 3 chain spaces. Maybe it's not that easy to see. 3 chain spaces in the previous row. We're going to place 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space, right into that chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. We're going to place a double crochet on top of the double crochet from the previous row. And then now you're at a chain 3 space. We're going to place a double crochet at the top of each chain, or if you've been double crocheting directly into that chain 3 space, that's fine too. We're just going to place 3. 1, 2, 3, a double crochet on top of the next double crochet in the previous row, and now you're at a chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets directly into that chain 2 space. Now you're at the 5 single crochets. We're going to single crochet into the third single crochet in the previous row. Now look for the next chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets directly into that chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, a double crochet at the top of the next double crochet. Then you're at a chain 3 space. We're going to place a double crochet into each of the 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, a double crochet on top of the next double crochet in that V stitch in the previous row, and now 3 double crochets right into that chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3. Now you have 5 single crochets in the previous row. Place a single crochet in the third. 1, 2, 3. Next up, there's a chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets right in that chain 2 space. One double crochet at the top of the next double crochet, a double crochet into the next chain, and then a double crochet into the next chain, which is technically the top of the turning chain. So now you've completed row 3 of the 4-row repeat. To start the 4th row of the 4-row repeat, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. This is such a pretty stitch pattern, you guys. I love it so much. I love a fan pattern. Now we're going to place 3 single crochets in a row, 1 on top of each of the first 3 stitches in the previous row. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to find the single crochet in between the 2 fans from the previous row. It's right here, and we're going to double crochet into that single crochet. We're going to chain 3 and then double crochet right back into that single crochet to make a V-stitch. Chain 2. Now we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. We're going to find that single crochet in between the 2 fans in the previous row. We're going to double crochet into that single crochet, chain 3, and then double crochet back into that single crochet, chain 2, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Chain 2, skip the next 3 stitches, and double crochet into the single crochet in between the 2 fans in the previous row. Chain 3, double crochet back into that single crochet, chain 2, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and place a single crochet into each of the last 3 stitches in the previous row. And that is the end of your 4-row repeat. To keep going with this stitch, you would just repeat the 4-row repeat starting with repeat row 1. I will leave all the timestamps in the description box below, but let's do a couple of more rows together just to make sure we're on the same page. So to repeat row 1, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to start a repeat of row 1 the same way with a single crochet in the first stitch. Now we are at that chain 2 space. We're going to place 3 double crochets directly into that chain 2 space. And we're going to place a double crochet at the top of the double crochet in the previous row. And then we have a chain 3 space, and we're going to place 1 double crochet at the top of each of those chains. Again, if you are working directly into this chain space, that is fine too, as long as you stay consistent throughout your stitch pattern. We'll place 1 double crochet at the top of the next double crochet, and we're back at a chain 2 space, and we'll place 3 double crochets directly into that chain 2 space. Now there's a group of 5 single crochets from the previous row. We'll place a single crochet in the 3rd, single crochet from the previous row. Now we're going to work into the next chain 2 space with 3 double crochets directly into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet in the previous row. Now we're at a chain 3 space. We'll place 1 double crochet into each of the 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, a double crochet at the top of the next double crochet, and then we're back at a chain 2 space, 3 double crochets directly into that chain 2 space. And now we're on top of the 5 single crochets from the previous row. We're going to place 1 single crochet in the 3rd single crochet. Next, we're going to work into the next chain 2 space, 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space, 1 double crochet on top of the next double crochet, then we're at a chain 3 space, 1 double crochet on top of each chain in that chain 3 space, one double crochet on top of the next double crochet, 3 double crochets directly into that chain 2 space, and then to end the row, you have 3 stitches in front of you. We're going to place 1 single crochet into the last stitch. It looks so pretty. Lately, I've been making a lot of crochet laptop sleeves, mostly because, I know this is like a tangent that I'm going on, I don't even know who's still watching, but mostly because I need a laptop sleeve and I don't like those big bulky padded laptop sleeves because they take up so much space. But I find that a nice 4-weight acrylic yarn, when it's crocheted up, is just enough cushioning to put my laptop in to feel like it's protected enough because it's in my bag, but it doesn't take up so much space and it feels lightweight. And what's nice is that every time I find a yarn I like, and if I don't want to do a huge project, I can just make a laptop sleeve and have a beautiful stitch. I think this stitch is actually so nice for a laptop sleeve, so I might actually make a laptop sleeve using this stitch. I just think it's so pretty and so textural. I'm not even sure like which color I like the best. I think it looks so nice in solid colors. I have not tried it yet in a variegated yarn, but there we go. Here it is. This is a beautiful fan stitch. So easy once you get the hang of it. It's only a 4-row repeat. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Again, check the timestamps if you want to go back and look at any of the repeat rows, and I will see you in the next video.